everybody.
Hi.
We're back.
After a long break, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Margarita Wednesday because we just had two. So
Yeah,
this will be fun.
it should be. Also, Happy St. Urho's Day and Happy St. Patrick's Day, depending on when this will come out. So, do you even know what St. Urho's Day is?
No.
So, you know what St. Patrick's Day is, right?
Yeah.
So, St. Urho's Day is the Finnish holiday, essentially the equivalent of St. Patrick's Day, except, you know how St. Patrick's Day is how St. Patrick drove all the snakes out?
Yeah.
St. Urho drove all the grasshoppers out of Finland.
Good for him.
That's my bad, motherfucker.
I know, right? And we celebrate with alcohol too. Primarily vodka.
Primarily whiskey.
Yeah. So, depending on when this comes out, happy holidays, everyone.
So we are here to talk about a couple of movies starring people that we have discussed quite a bit in this podcast, but they're very different movies. The first stars Andy Griffith, the second stars Lucille Ball, and I have a weird fixation with comedians who do dramatic performances. I always find it fascinating. If it's Jim Carrey in like The Truman Show, or everybody forgets now that Tom Hanks used to be a comedic actor, but when Philadelphia came out, I remember I was like, oh, the guy from Splash? Okay, well, now I got to see this. So, to stumble upon these two movies, they are movies from before the TV shows, before the Andy Griffith Show, before I Love Lucy, where Andy Griffith, he was already doing comedy. He was already doing
radio shows.
So he hadn't developed his completely wholesome persona yet. And this movie that we're about to talk about is not Sheriff Andy.
No, not at all. Like, I think the thing that really struck me with this one is that I actually had to rewatch it to reacquaint me with this character, because, like I've mentioned, is that, you know, I grew up on Sheriff Andy, and I didn't watch, you know, Face in the Crowd until high school, but I had to rewatch it when you said, hey, let's do a podcast about about this, you know, specific movie. So I rewatched it, and oofda. In the Minnesota terms, oofda. I just how would you describe Sheriff Andy?
Sheriff Andy is a wholesome, all-American father, a good guy who just wants to make everybody happy, and he's just the best guy that you could ever imagine.
Yeah, you would explain him as someone who'd be able to be personable and being able to communicate with anyone, walks of life, being able to, you know, what's it called? You know,
we have a co-host.
Hi. It's a kitty. He'd be able to essentially take any situation and make it into a better situation, right? And how would you actually describe his laugh?
He just threw me a kiss.
I don't blame him, Barney. With that lipstick all over your face, you do look kind of sweet.
Oh, boy. You're just full of fun today, aren't you? Why don't we go up to the old people's home and wax the steps?
Very warm and very affectionate, and it makes you smile every time you hear it. Now, how would you describe Lonesome Rhodes from A Face in the Crowd?
Are those morons out there?
Very selfish, very has his own agenda, rapey, very has
racist,
just very cold. It's very, might I say, Trump? esque.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even when I went and watched the movie on YouTube again, like, you could even read some of the comments. Like, some of the comments on the actual YouTube are saying, does anyone see this as, like, Trump vibes? Yeah. So even people nowadays are saying, hey, this movie is giving me Trump vibes. And it's like, weird.
It is a movie that I feel like it predicted some things.
Right, it did. It really did. And I think it's very it's very tongue twisty. It makes you want to watch the movie, but at the same time it makes you it makes your heart sink.
Yeah.
Because, Andy Griffith, we love the character, we love the person, but that's because of how he portrayed, Andy Taylor.
Yeah.
What makes me question, though, is that, when we're acting a character, is this a persona? When we're acting a character, right? We're actually bringing forth a certain part of ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Lonesome Roads is part of that version of Andy actually in Lonesome Roads.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me cringe to think about.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I went and read some things on Andy Griffith, yeah, he did cheat on his wife. A lot. And so does Lonesome Roads. Like, he has no forgiveness about it either.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely no forgiveness. He doesn't care. He absolutely has absolutely no care about, like, hurting anyone until he's hurt.
Mm-hmm. Well, he is, as we talked about before the podcast, he is a narcissist.
Yes, very much so.
We both have known some narcissists.
Hi, if you're watching the podcast. We might blur that out. If not...
And so, the plot of the movie, which we've neglected to mention so far, directed by the great Elia Kazan.
Yes. Amazing, by the way.
Yes.
How he decided to direct the movie was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Like, the whole entire movie, it is brilliant how he decided to direct it. Like, it is different for its entire age, by the way.
Yeah.
At this point in time, most movies were musicals, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have musicals like Singing in the Rain, you have Bring Me to the Ball Game, you have, just a bunch of musicals, essentially, like Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, essentially, hey, happy-go-lucky, you don't have these political agenda movies or talking about people being narcissists. You don't have these, movies essentially centering around the cases of, hey, if we take this person and, build them up, what can we make out of them? Type movies.
Which is, Lonesome Roads is basically, he's a drifter. He's just this dirtbag who one day, a radio show host, a local radio show host, Marsha, finds him in a jail. She does this show called A Face in the Crowd, where she goes, just looks for interesting people and interviews them. And
keep in mind, she is also in the beginning very outgoing, very happy-go-lucky, a very just bright and bubbly personality. Mm-hmm. You can see her smile from, one end of the county to the other. She has a beautiful smile in the beginning of the movie. Keep that in mind.
Yes, and that he absolutely smashes out of her.
Just completely destroys.
But she does this one interview with him. Everybody loves him. Mm-hmm. So she's like, well, we got to do more with him. So she finds him. She brings him in. He gets his own radio show. He gets his own national radio show. He gets his own TV show. By the end of the movie, this drifter, dirtbag piece of shit is like advising a presidential nominee on like how to make people love him. So basically the entire country gets taken over by this narcissistic creep.
Yeah.
Not that that could ever really happen.
Not like we've seen that happen in, our day and age or anything like that.